everyone, welcome back to a brand new series of podcasts Like That Can Mayor. And in this episode, we are gonna have a very interesting guest, and he is Ray Mark, the YouTube legend in Malaysia, the first YouTuber. Ray Mark is everywhere, and here he is in our studio today. So
Hey.
Ray.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how are you doing today, Ray?
Great.
Thank you for being here. You are everywhere, and finally, you step into our studio.
Yeah, because I can teleport.
So, Ray, would you like to just introduce yourself a little bit to our audience?
So, my name is Ray Mark, and I've been on YouTube for basically the longest time. Okay, when YouTube started, and before even Google took over YouTube, I already started YouTube. So that's a very long time lah. And of course, I am also verified on YouTube, and I am also a YouTube official artist.
Right.
So you see, YouTube, there are two types of verification. So one is like the normal verification. The others would be the YouTube official artists like Justin Bieber, Blackpink, and all those. Yeah, so I'm same category.
Wow, that's flex, official artist. So for YouTube, there's two kind of verification, right? The number one is just basically you're big enough. Crossing
then you
about
get that
100,000, if I'm not wrong. Then you can apply for a verification badge. And
Yes.
The other one is the one where you get acknowledged directly by YouTube. Right?
Yes. That one is usually upon invitation, or if you have a distributor, you can kind of apply it through a distributor. But if you apply it through a distributor before you get a normal verification, then you will never get the normal verification. You will only get the official artist.
I
But
see.
for me, I was awarded both. So I didn't need to apply.
You were awarded both, and you were the earliest. You were one of the earliest, at least, to start YouTube in Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
What year was it when you first started YouTube?
2006.
2006.
YouTube started in 2005. So then there were other people like, for example, Timothy Delagado, Niga Higa, and all those. So they came in. But then after that, I saw them and I'm like, oh, YouTube is a platform where I can actually upload my videos as backup. So that time it wasn't really for music or anything. So how I started YouTube is I have a hard drive. Okay, so when I was in college as a poor college kid. Okay, for college kid, like, you know, when you're in college, usually you are quite poor. And back in the States, it's crazy. Things are so expensive. USB cable, okay, back then it's like USB 2.0 cable lah, is $20 for
$20 USD.
Yeah, $20 USD for 1 meter. So I'm like,
wow.
Oh my god, everything is so expensive. And hard drive is like maybe $60 US for not 1 terabyte. I think like
That
just
time, 1 tera.
yeah, that time is like I can't remember,
Maybe
80 gigabyte.
80 gigabyte.
80 gigabyte. So that was very big already.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So those were the days lah. So when I was in college, I have this. So I like to shoot videos.
Okay.
To remember my college life. So it's kind of like vlogging in the past, but vlogging didn't exist yet during those days. But I wanted something to remember my college in US. So I started shooting with my Sony T7 camera. So it's a very slim camera. And I just shoot everything, my daily college life, my food that I eat in my college and all those. And one day, my hard drive start to stop working. Okay, so I have that old 80 gigabyte hard disk. When I plug into my computer, it's like start to... So I'm like, oh shit, I have to buy another hard drive to back up my thing. So I managed to buy another hard drive, but then I thought, hard drive, they are not forever. So I wanted somewhere to upload my videos so that they can last a lot longer. So back in those days, we have X drive, Y drive, and those cost around $19.99 US per month.
Ooh.
Yeah, as a college kid, I couldn't afford that. Yeah. So I couldn't afford that. $19.99 per month in Malaysia ringgit times 3.8. During that time, it was packed. So it's like around $80 ringgit.
Right.
So I was like, wow, very expensive. So then this YouTube thing came up. I'm like, wow, now I can upload my videos on YouTube for free, as a backup. So I started uploading my taekwondo videos. So back in those days, I teach martial art in college.
So you're a man of many arts, not just piano, but taekwondo as well.
Taekwondo as well.
Oh, and you started using YouTube mainly as a backup drive for yourself rather than like today, everyone want to be a YouTuber kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, because that time there was no such thing as YouTubing or YouTuber. Yeah, there was no such thing. So I just uploaded all this martial art video of me like teaching taekwondo, and then my friends. I want to remember my friends' faces, so I shot their videos and all those things. So for videos, I put it on YouTube, and for pictures, I put it on this website called Multiply, and that website is now down already. It's no longer there.
Right.
So so that YouTube thing, there was one day. I was doing, so in one of the events, basically in one of the events, I was invited to perform taekwondo, and right after taekwondo, I was invited to perform piano.
Okay.
So imagine the same person appearing twice, but doing very different things. Okay, so I did my taekwondo, and then after that, I changed to like a suit, like a full piece, 3-piece suit, and then I started playing piano. And someone recorded it, and she put it on YouTube, and it went viral.
Right.
And back in those days, 3,000 views is viral already. Because the entire YouTube, there were like so little people.
Yeah, you're talking about only 1 year after YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Right, that time, I think it's a world that many of us don't quite even remember already, because I remember during that time, 2006, many of us are still using like 3310 phones without internet, right? And smartphone was like
phone without internet.
Yeah, and then we are talking about like video format in 3GP, right? 3GP. And yeah, it's like all the okay. Now 3GP would give people an interesting perspective. But that was an exact format, right? Yeah, and it was like those old Nokia phone Symbian and all. And so you were in the early days, and you started back then when you were in US. Now, before we jump back into the topic of YouTube, I want to ask you one thing. Actually, how long have you been playing music?
Okay, I started learning the piano, in January 27, 1991.
1991.
Yeah, I could remember the dates because I had a card. Okay, I had a card that read the first class that I attended. So it was like January 27 of 1991.
Right.
So I'm like, and I still keep that card.
By the time you started YouTube, you were already playing piano close to 10 plus years already, about 20 years, right?
Already.
Yeah, so you started since you were young. And when you were in the US, were you there to study music? And that's the reason why it got posted? What were you doing there actually?
So I was studying finance and operations management, which is something like totally unrelated, and minor in food science.
So you did finance and operations and minor in food science, but you end up became a music YouTuber.
Yeah. Which is fortunate and unfortunate.
Right. So you are supposed to be talking content like me, right? Not the other way around.
Basically, those days I visualized my life looking at 3 monitors and a lot of graph. So my dream was to be a financial analyst in Wall Street.
All right. So how did that work out for you? Were you ever a Wall Street banker? What were you doing prior to YouTube?
So after graduation, I went to New York City. So I live in Grand Street of New York, which is very near to the Wall Street. Very near.
And the year you graduated was?
2007.
2007. Means, were you there during the 9/11?
Nope, I wasn't there.
You already left?
I already left. Okay. No, 9/11 was... Wait, 9/11 was... 2000. No, that was way before.
That was way before. All right. Yeah. So you never had the chance to see the
I didn't get a chance to see that because I remember 9/11. I was Form 3.
Oh,
Yeah, I was still in Malaysia,
okay.
and I was checking my Hotmail and all those things. Yeah, when that happened.
Okay, that was a that was a different
damn long
topic
ago.
anyway.
Yeah.
So let's go back to it. So
Okay.
after you graduated, you went and worked in New York City.
I went to New York City, and I interviewed with Goldman Sachs. Okay.
Ooh, Goldman Sachs.
So on the 6th or 7th interview, I didn't get it because it's really tough. And that time happened to be a financial crisis. Not a very big one, but it was a financial crisis. I can't remember whether it was the foreclosure thing, you know. So back in those days lah. And then I got hired by Microsoft through an agent that they headhunt people on Facebook.
So you're not working for Microsoft.
Yeah, I'm not working for Microsoft in the like business development, business strategy part lah, where I was the front line that pushes Windows Vista back then and Office 2007.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're not working for big tech.
Big tech, but not in the finance, unfortunately. So not my dream of looking at 3 monitors and doing like trading and analyst stuff, you know. So it was more of a marketing, business strategies, big business development.
But it's
thing.
still a dream job for many people.
For many people, yes.
Yeah. So how long were you there as
For a year.
for a year?
For a year,
Right.
and then I came back.
Right. How was the life like as a Microsoft employee and working directly in New York itself? You know.
Yeah.
So it's like
So when I was with Microsoft, I was flown to a few different states, like basically like Reno, Las Vegas, Orange County, and a few New York, Boston, yeah, and a few other places. So it was a quite flexible kind of work. It was quite flexible. So I was basically visiting big places like Best Buy, Circuit City, and also some smaller computer shops.
was it a fun experience working in Microsoft?
Really fun because Las Vegas we get like to eat buffet and stuff, and then they gave me like a credit card. It was a pretty high value credit card where I can actually swipe, and then when I meet customer and all those things, I can swipe and use. Then I have my steaks and my pretty nice wine.
Right, and all these at the same time, you were also having your own YouTube channel.
Yeah, that time, yes, I started YouTube already. Yeah.
But so were you like uploading every week?
So I was uploading I didn't have a consistent schedule back then because YouTube was more like a backup things.
Right.
Okay, so I uploaded whenever I get to play the piano because in New York I didn't have a piano.
Right.
So I have to travel to Boston.
Oh, so again, during that time, YouTube wasn't like a career for you, right? It was.
Yeah. It was
the
never heard of.
What was the perspective of you? At the point, was it still, it's just a backup for my videos, or it's a place that I can express myself? What was your view on YouTube at that point?
Okay, so what happened was like this. So 2006, I started uploading all these college videos and all those things. Then in 2007, my friend shot me playing the piano right after the taekwondo thingy. And that video went viral. So I went to ask my friend. So her name is Tjun. Hey, Tjun, the video that you shot that day of me playing the piano, can I have a copy as well? I want to upload on my YouTube channel. Okay, so I uploaded that on my YouTube channel, and that gained like, I think 10,000 views. Back then, it's like super viral already. and you know, back in those days, because YouTube was very new, so they would have category. I don't know if you guys have seen it before. So back in those days, the rating system was based on stars. So 1 star, 2 star, 3, 4 star, and until 5 star maximum. And they would also have category like, for example, top 50 musician Malaysia, top 50 musician worldwide, something like that. So I was top 50 musician worldwide.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so my entire channel was top 50 musician worldwide until they discontinued that ranking system.
Right. And during that time, you were already working with Microsoft, is it?
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like a part-time. Was it making?
It wasn't a part-time because it wasn't making money.
Oh, it wasn't making money. So it's just like us playing with Facebook, but considered like quite hot Facebook profile like that lah.
Yeah, but I really like the fact that when I uploaded my music thing, people were starting to be like comment, hey, you should continue uploading your music thing because it's so nice, blah blah blah. I sleep to your music. I sleep to your music.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So when I see all these comments, I become kind of motivated to continue playing the piano and to continue uploading it. So back in those days, I have to travel to Boston, to University of Massachusetts, Boston. So they have like a piano room that I can use for free. So I went in there and I take my camera and I just shoot.
Wow. So basically, whenever you uploaded, you actually had to fly down to Boston to actually play.
Like that time not flying, I took a bus. I didn't have so much money to fly.
That's a lot of dedication, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dedication.
4 hours bus.
Now, then the question is, during the time you were in Microsoft, and you were there only for 1 year plus, right? And YouTube was a side thing for you. Now, what happened after Microsoft? Why did you actually even come back to Malaysia? I
That
mean,
one is like personal, relationship related problem.
I see. So basically, you came back for a relationship, and
that didn't work out. Okay,
that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And so you got come back to Malaysia, lah.
Yeah. So
So coming back here then, right? What were you doing, and how did YouTube end up becoming your full-time career?
So before I reached Malaysia, I got headhunted by Tokyo Marine Life. And that time I started as like a executive over there, and then slowly I got promoted into business strategies where I help them with their strategy and stuff. So during those days, YouTube, the monetization haven't started yet. Because
So it's still a hobby kind of thing.
Still like a hobby kind of thing. But I had a consistent upload schedule already because of the motivation that is given by my fans. Because that time my channel was already growing quite fast as the top 50 musician worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was a huge growth time for you, but then it's still a hobby.
It's still a hobby.
So when did it change from a hobby to a career?
It kind of changed like after some time. Not because that time the income was very, very low. I mean, to be very honest, we don't really make money from AdSense.
Unless you're very big.
very, very, very big and very, very, very viral. So, but the comments from people and the support from people actually make me continue. I just continue to push. And another reason is because when I feel down, okay, I want to listen back to my own songs. Last time I was able to play this, that kind of feeling. Yeah, because I tend to forget a lot of my songs after I play them. Okay?
Right.
So when I go back, I can listen. Last time I could play this. This is how I played it, and I can play it again. So that kind of feeling lah. So a lot of things that push me in the YouTube to continue posting, despite I was just making a few $100.
But that time, you went from like YouTube not making money at all, because that time there was no money making system.
Yeah, there was no money making system.
To the time that YouTube made money, right? And if I recall, you are actually the first Malaysian YouTuber that was invited to be a paid content creator.
Yes, exactly.
So how was it like?
Oh my God. That time is like really revolutionary, because for YouTube to invite people, you cannot apply to be partner. Like right now, you have to fill up some forms and all those things. Then you say, I want to apply to
fill the qualification.
Then qualification, 1,000 subscriber, 4,000 hours. Back in those days, YouTube have to identify you. Okay, then they will send you a physical letter.
Ooh.
Yeah, a physical letter from Google all the way to your house.
And that time, were you in US or Malaysia?
I was back in Malaysia, when they signed me as partner.
And you're working in Tokyo Marine, right?
Tokyo Marine.
Yeah.
So I received that letter. I'm like, wow, a physical letter.
Do you still keep the letter until today?
No, I signed and I sent it back.
Okay.
I have to send it back to Google. That time, Google wasn't in Malaysia yet.
Right.
So I just sent it back to Google.
To the US.
And my God, to get your money into your hands, you have to queue up with so many people in Western Union.
Oh, that time was under Western Union some more.
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't like today they can directly bank in every month on the 20th of the month.
Do you still remember what's your first paycheck, how much is the amount?
I think
Google?
100 plus.
100
plus.
bucks, yeah.
Because $100 is the threshold for AdSense to get. So I got 100 plus, and it was sent through Western Union. Then I have to queue up with a whole bunch of people just to get my first paycheck.
Do you remember how was the feeling?
The feeling was good because the 100 plus in Malaysia is 600-700. Yeah.
And it's like something that is like,
Yeah, I'm like, hey, my hobby can be money.
so what was the transition? What changed? What made you decide to quit a job that is so high paying and considered like doing very well, and then leave that and say, I'm gonna be a YouTuber?
Okay, so there are actually many reasons, but among the reason is actually the difference in corporate culture when it comes to corporate America and corporate Malaysia. Okay, so the difference in culture is like when I was in America, when I work, they would be like, oh my God, Ray, you're too fast. Slow down, you're breaking the benchmark, slow down. And then you can leave like whenever, or you can just work like maybe a few days. As long as you finish your stuff, you're fine. But in Malaysia, it's a bit different. You finish your stuff, you get more stuff. You get what I mean? And then there is this unspoken rule of that if your boss haven't leave, and if you leave, people will be like looking at you, it's that kind of feeling. And there are many more reasons. The difference between the corporate Malaysia and corporate America lah. Of course, America, they also have like some very toxic work culture, but it wasn't in Microsoft. Yeah, so that's why my experience was very different, and that kind of pushed me to try my own things. And with the few $100 from YouTube, it kind of helped me cushion my basic expenses.
Right.
So when I feel like I have that cushion, then I can just come out and try things. You know what I mean? So I tried quite a lot of things before I end up now doing this full-time YouTube. I became a property agent. And in fact, I was the first property agent that posted videos on YouTube in iProperty.
Oh.
Yeah, the very first.
Oh. You could have done property review. And
yeah, but that time, what I did is just I just bring my camera and I shoot, and I put my piano background.
Right.
So to increase the YouTube monetization. So kind of like free content lah.
If that time you started doing property review, then you'll be Yang Sifu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so you tried property agent.
I tried property agent. I tried MLM. I tried even insurance because I used to work in Tokyo Marine. So one of the leaders over there actually recruited me as well. Then I tried many other things. I tried to open a traditional business as well. So it was because back in those days, the Ministry of Health actually announced that every company like restaurant and factories, they have to get HACCP and ISO certification. So me and 3 other friends from Tokyo Marine, we started a company called T4 Academy.
Okay.
So that we can help people get their HACCP and ISO certification and make some money lah, and charge maybe like $40 per person if let's say there is people that we need to train, for example.
Right.
Okay, and then it failed because the government suddenly just U-turn and say, now we don't need restaurant and factories, not mandatory to get this ISO and HACCP. So the company chap lap.
Okay.
Yeah. So my life is not always like unicorns and rainbow. I actually failed many times in many things.
I see. So all the beautiful life you are living right now actually gone through some difficult moments lah.
Yeah.
This side is a side that we don't know lah.
Yeah.
Right.
People will think like, Raymond is very rich.
you want to tell Sean this?
Sean, I'm bathing in blood.
Later he's gonna comment. I tell you. So, having said that, so after trying out so many different things, what was the thing that you end up settled with? So put it this way, right? right now, after going through so many things, what helps you to make money right now? How do you actually live? Many people, every time I go out, people actually ask us, and especially ask you also this question, right? Actually, Ray, how do you make money, Anna? Yeah. So, end of the day, what worked for you?
Okay, what worked for me is, of course, initially my YouTube was like very low lah, and then there were a few videos that went viral. So the viral videos kind of pushed the income up for like a couple months. So I'm like, oh, there is potential in this YouTube thing. As long as, like, let's say I make 10 videos, one goes viral, I may have a chance. Okay, back in those days, it's easier to get viral compared to today. Today is very difficult. Okay, today, unless you're very controversial, okay, and unless you appear in the news or something like that. Back in those days, it's not that difficult. Okay, so out of 10 videos, if one go viral, then I can makan, I can eat my nasi lemak, you know. So I see the potential in it. So I continue working. And then, of course, many things change. Like in the past, people look at YouTube, they like music, they like all these very traditional things. But today, they like pranks, they like funny stuff, they like things that are controversial, news.
They also like people wear very sexy and play piano.
Yeah, very sexy and play piano. So, I mean, the things that people like change. So I start to see like a slight decline in both my channel, my income, and basically everything. I can start to see like a decline lah. Okay, but luckily, because in the past I've been doing like all this MLM and all that, so I have pretty good supplementary income from those areas as well. So I'm not so worried that my YouTube goes down too low. I still have some income from other places.
Right. So basically, you have multiple sources of
multiple
income.
Multiple sources of income.
So
exactly.
Do you mind if, let's say, we break it down a little bit? Yeah. So
break it down.
Okay, not too detailed lah. To the point that you feel comfortable. So you have income coming from YouTube for sure. Right, that's earned by AdSense.
That's earned by AdSense and sponsorships.
Then we have sponsorships. So I also understand you're a Kawaii and ambassador. Yeah. So that will give you some income as well. And then sponsored videos, right?
Yeah, sponsored videos.
As we mentioned. And performance?
Very rarely performance. I'm not very good with live performance.
Right. So then there will be your MLM income, because I understand that you also actually built yourself a career in MLM. That's actually pretty good. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And property still got?
Some
here and there.
Some here and there.
Yeah. More of a
can survive.
Passive investment kind. Yeah.
Passive investment kind.
Okay. So we are talking about at least 5 income.
At least.
Right. That is why Ray Mark actually
can survive
and got time to do a lot of things lah, huh?
Yeah, can plant vegetables.
Yeah. That's why Ray Mark is everywhere. Always comment on everyone's video, cause he's not scared of any of his income drop. Got many. Yeah. Okay. We will not go too deep into how much money exactly you're earning, but let's talk about a day in your life. So right now, how many years have you been doing YouTube already? After you leave the corporate world?
So 2006 until today would be...
After you left corporate world, 2006?
Yeah, no, I was still in corporate world.
Oh, so after you left corporate world, how long?
After I left corporate world, maybe about 10 years.
10 years.
Slightly more than 10 years.
Okay, so after 10 years, currently, what is a lifestyle like for you? What's a day in your life?
So a day in my life, I love to eat. So I always meet people to eat. And because I'm also in MLM, so I do meet people to eat, and at the same time I share about the products and services and the business opportunities, those kind of thing. And I always eat in the few same places. So if you actually see my Instagram, I'm always in the few same places because I like to eat in places that are very quiet. So
he eat until the shop become famous.
Yeah. So I basically I eat, then I meet friends. So that's my basic life lah. And then on the weekends I'll be taking care of my kids, bringing them out to like the park or something like that.
Right. So, but honestly, I don't really see you. Every time I see your Instagram, I don't really see you
working.
Working.
Yeah. Okay, you see the misconception about like people say Instagrammer, those kind of thing like is that you see when we are working we won't post our sunful, like our difficult life. Oh, I'm working right now, I'm in front of the computer doing music, doing until 3 a.m. Now I'm editing video. I mean those kind of things we won't put it up. But the only things that I put up is when I am eating with friends and all those things. So whatever people see on Instagram is not really my real work. It's when I'm eating with friends. So you see a lot of eating pictures.
So when I see you plant veggie, like you know he's veggie got fan.
Yeah, my vegetable got solar powered fan.
Got fan blow its veggie
Yeah.
So those are actually the fun times.
Yeah, so whatever you see on Instagram and social media is the fun time. But the difficult times where I work until 2-3 a.m. every day editing videos and making music, those are not on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You guys see us like very fun here, right?
Yeah, very fun here.
Actually, no. We actually work very hard.
It's difficult life.
Yeah. That one I can testify. So, having said that, right? One more thing is this. Going into your music creation, how do you ensure that you are still creative in the way you generate your music? Because being in a creative line, every day, it's about like looking for new creativity and stuff like that, right? So sometimes you get drained off. Yeah. So how do you actually remain creative and motivated to create?
So I read comments.
You read comments.
Aside from writing comments, I read comments. And I get around like maybe a few hundred comments every day and maybe 10 to 20 videos of kids making videos about me. Okay. So I when I read comments and if the comments is like very positive and all those things, so I get motivated to post more. And another thing is because I'm kind of obliged, okay, as the ambassador of this company, that company, and particularly Kawaii, okay. The obligation kind of push that I have to post content every week, for example. Yeah. So it is aside from motivation, obligation is also very important. So in order to remain consistent, so I have to just push my obligation.
Right. So two things that motivates you to keep creating is number one, reading comments, especially positive comments, right? And number two is there is a obligation to produce.
And then to buy my milk money and
I shall not comment too much on those things. If not later, Sean will be very angry.
Sean Lee.
If he watches this. So now, to end it all for today, since you are the OG YouTuber, the first that actually get to be a YouTube partner as well in Malaysia. Now, today, the world has changed. Back then, probably your parents will be like, huh? Do YouTube? You sure you can make money or not? You sure you can survive or not? I send you all the way to US, right? Do you face that kind of objection from your parents those days?
So luckily, my parents are the more open-minded type. So initially, I get some comments, not from my parents, but more from my auntie. You know, like aunties, they always like to comment one, man. They're like, huh? Wow, pat mo jing yip one, you know, this guy, no jobless guy. Go in US study, so much money spent already, but come back, do all this, don't know what kind of job, And so, I thought you are sitting in front of the computer, facing 3 monitors, wearing your coat, wearing your suit, and doing my financial stuff. Those kind of mentality lah. So usually the auntie will say that, and when they say that, it's gonna affect my parents as well.
Right.
Okay, so my parents initially they will be like, oh, okay, no problem, blah blah blah. But then when a lot of aunties start to make comments like this, then my parents will be kind of felt it as well. And sometimes when I go out with my parents to eat, they'll be like, oh, my son is a doctor, my son is a lawyer, my daughter is a lawyer, this kind of thing. Then they will be like looking at me. I'm like, so what does your son do? Pat mo jeng yip one, So basically, pat mo jeng yip is like no proper job. Okay, no proper job. So it wasn't a very smooth journey, I would say. But then because as I continue to post, then I get a lot of recognition, and then I get to appear in some like news, magazines, and all those things. Then they start to see something, and then my parents will start to see he actually have some income enough to survive one, so can lah, no problem lah.
Okay, so it took a while before family really accepted it lah.
Yeah.
So having said that, we have talked about your whole journey in YouTube, everything until like your current lifestyle. If there's one thing that you're proud of over all these years, what will that be?
I'm pretty proud of the fact that I'm still here. Still continue to post because there are so many YouTubers from my time. They have already moved on to other things, or they have already quit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Many
so
already burned out.
many have already burned out. So I'm very glad that I'm still here and still very motivated by your comments.
Subscribe to Raymark.
Subscribe to Mr. Money as well. So still very motivated, and I can still see myself continue to do this until the day that I die, because it's music. Music is something that is quite versatile, and people would definitely listen to music all the time. Yeah.
So that's very true, because I see many creators actually burn out after a while. Like even when we first started, many people think that after you post for half a year,
probably die one.
Keep continue, right? And to be able to do it for like 10 years, that is really, really something.
Yeah.
And
15 years.
15 years. And on top of that, Raymark is still someone that always comes out and meet with new creators. You will see him on his Instagram, he'll be like meeting this new creator, that new creator, and he's sharing his experience, enjoying. And he's not the kind that comes out with you and like, let me tell you what you need to do because I'm the OG. He doesn't do that. He just hang out like with you, like makan minum, like just another person. If you need any help, he's gonna give an advice. So before we end today's session, let us end it with a word of advice, because the world has changed. Today, many parents come to me, they talk to me, they say, hey, nowadays my kids always say this, I want to be a YouTuber. Now YouTuber is like the choice career for people, or either being an Instagram famous person, right? So what will be your advice to new creators out there who wants to start a new YouTube channel, or maybe being an influencer some sort or another? What will be your advice for them?
Okay, so of course, you if you want to be like a content creator, you got to be very persistent, consistent, and most important, perseverance. Because a lot of time, there will be a lot of time that you see your views are very low. Then you're like, then you will keep on thinking you want to change something. Okay, so maybe the thing that let's say you pick finance. Okay, let's say you pick the topic of finance. So some of these kids nowadays they start to do whatever topic that they have picked. Then around 6 months, and they still see no results. Then they just give up, or they change their topic entirely. They change their channel name. They change their channel picture, and try to do like something totally different. And then another 6 months, they try to do another thing again. So you will never know that you will be successful or not if you don't persevere. Because a lot of times, if you persevere on your topic of your choice, after some time, you will start to see result. Yeah. People move on too quick.
That is true. Yeah, I think one of the things that we need to learn when you're building a new channel, or if you're ever thinking about going to content creation, is the fact that you need to remember that you need to make marginal improvement and build upon your previous content to make it better. So instead of just changing direction as a whole and just rebrand every single thing, sometimes it calls for that sometimes, right? But not all the time. The best choice is actually just make your content better day by day. Make your content day by day, one day better than the other day. This week's content better than last week, and slowly measure from there and try to improve, right? Yeah, I think that's very, very good advice. Yeah, so that's all for today's session. So here is Raymark. Raymark is everywhere, and today in the studio of Mr. Money TV. So
I'm gonna teleport.
Subscribe to Raymark.
Subscribe to Mr. Money TV.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.